We're back. Guys, I am literally exhausted. Dan and I went away on this short little trip, 3 days to Florida, like a 2.5-hour flight. And yet I feel like I was away for a month running a crazy marathon and not eating enough. And yet 95% of this trip was just chilling and napping and enjoying each other's company. But I'm so exhausted. And I'm happy to come back to a free day because I can kind of get myself back together and do some things to get my energy back up. And of course, it's Sunday. And what does that mean? That means the entire Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all of that, it is hashtag self-care Sunday. And it drives me kind of crazy because the trend of self-care has kind of twisted the entire purpose and meaning of self-care. And I figure this is the perfect segue into what we are going to make a regular segment here on Sips and Giggles that I like to call Instagram versus reality. And yes, I know you guys were probably thinking like the picture, the side by side on Instagram, and one side is like a superposed, like sultry look with like the chiseled abs, and then the other side is like the bags under the eyes and the bloating, and that is like so real. I've talked about it on my Instagram before, but I want to go a little bit deeper than just Instagram versus reality in what we look like, but also what we do. And a big thing that I've been wanting to talk about for so long is the topic of self-care and what it is versus what it isn't, because I feel like Instagram and Twitter and everything have kind of just made self-care one of those aesthetically pleasing things that have to happen and have to be beautiful. So we are going to talk that out because it is driving me crazy. Welcome to Sips and Giggles. I'm here to offer all of my lack of filter, real deal BFF services. I'm talking from life crisis like, oh my God, I think I need to quit my job, to much less extreme examples like, oh my God, what should I eat? You can call your friends for the fluff and the distractions, that's fine. But I am here to deal the 3 a.m. heart-to-heart, no tolerance for the bullshit level conversation. So pour it up, whatever gets you going. It could be $7 boxed wine, coffee blacker than your soul, or for me, pre-workout, because for whatever reason, it makes me all preachy and chatty and in touch with myself. But get a good glass full because you are in for a ride. Okay, so self-care has been made to be this crazy, beautiful, over-the-top thing that everybody needs to show off all over the place, and it takes the entire meaning out of it. And if you were here with me, you would see I'm like actually stressing about this. So, for example, here, look, I am going to search Self-Care Sunday, hashtag it in Instagram, and we'll see what comes up. Okay. Top 3 things that come up right now on Instagram searching Self-Care Sunday. 1, a plate of these crazy, I guess, like pear pancakes. Beautiful to look at with like peanut butter drizzle and fruits. And wow, shout out to whoever made this because you spent a lot of time. And then let's see. Next one is a girl with a face mask on and a glass of wine. And then we've got like this bath with like crystals and flowers in the bath and whatever. And okay, so this just shows exactly what I'm trying to say. This is where becoming a trend on social media kind of ruins the general concept of something that is good for us. So let's talk about what self-care really is to begin with. And I really love the way Money Crashers says it on their website. So I'm going to read that to you. It's moneycrashers.com, guys. Don't worry about it. Anyway, they say it perfectly, self-care is a very active and powerful choice to engage in the activities that are required to gain or maintain an optimal level of overall health. And in this case, overall health includes not just the physical, but the psychological, emotional, social, and spiritual components of an individual's well-being. Boom. Yes. Preach hand emojis, just like all the yes. And very rarely is self-care, like real self-care, Instagram worthy and aesthetic and pretty and fun. 9 times out of 10, they are literally the ugliest things that you probably rarely do. And while mani-pedis and Lush Bombs are great, they fall more into that hashtag treat yourself category, if you Parks and Rec people know what I'm saying. Self-care is full of the things that take your well-being to the next level. So no, it's not all pretty face masks. Sometimes it means having a regular skincare routine and staying hydrated, like drinking water, just overall taking care of your skin. And no, it's not always going and getting a massage. Sometimes it's just regular workouts and then foam rolling afterwards, which, oh my God, when you talk about ugly self-care, it's like one of the ugliest forms of self-care is foam rolling. You absolutely need to do it. It's like a huge component if you are working your muscles every single day. But I don't think I know anyone who could possibly look good foam rolling. Just not. If you guys don't know, first of all, if you don't know what a foam roller is, it's basically this large cylinder made of, I guess, like styrofoam that you place under like your sore body. So like you roll out your legs or your arm or your back or your butt, whatever it is, rolling out your body like pizza dough. And sometimes like you could also get like a ball and like sit on top of it and roll around. There's just nothing hashtag self-care Sunday about that. But it's so important, and that is self-care. Self-care is choosing to make a habit of the things that you usually don't do but should be doing. And honestly, for a lot of people, self-care includes, or it should include, peeling away from the world of Instagram and trends and just like being on their screen as a whole and just living reality instead of the Instagram reality. That in itself could be a form of self-care, being able to put your phone down, saying, you know what, 9 p.m. phone goes away. Or saying, you know what, I have a total of 30 minutes tops every day that I can spend on whatever feeds and websites and apps suck you into a different reality. That in itself could be self-care. Self-care is removing negatives and introducing twice as many positives into your life. And honestly, guys, I can't stress this enough. Self-care is not always easy. It's not just like a peel-off mask. It's not always pretty either. Dear God, no. And it's not always fun. So it's not always like the Soho Spa Club and mimosas and brunch and lash extensions. Those are Instagram self-care, like life cover-ups. Just so much different from what we really need, because self-care is supposed to move us forward, you guys. It drives me absolutely insane. This is such a venting session. It's insane. But I want you guys to understand it now, because we get so caught up into, okay, self-care means mani-pedis, or okay, self-care means I have to get, even with face masks, it's like, all right, my face mask isn't a self-care face mask unless it's a clay mask or a sheet mask or something that like shows up on my skin so I can take a picture of it. What? Self-care for the body is regularly exercising. It's splurging on the more expensive body wash because it doesn't make your skin break out. That right there is self-care. Guys, seriously? Like if you're going to Lush and getting $20 bath bombs because that's your self-care, but then you're going to the dollar store and getting your body wash, you have your priorities super mixed up, and the self-care aspect of your life isn't really taking care of yourself. Self-care for the body is fucking flossing and cleaning out your ears and clipping your toenails. Self-care for your body is getting enough rest, like actually sleeping through the night and prioritizing sleep. But aside from sleep, just not running yourself down throughout the day. These are things that you can't just complete in 1 hour on a Sunday. Self-care is an active thing, you guys. Self-care for your body is not those turmeric and apple cider vinegar shots. Dear God. I mean, if you're into it and good for you. But if you are forcing these things down because hashtag self-care Sunday, find something else. But I'm telling you right now that is becoming something that you even have that negative association with because you don't enjoy it, but you're telling yourself you have to do it because that is what the trend tells you self-care is. Self-care for your body is not binging on cheat meals 1 day a week. It's 100% if you are eating healthy, you guys, and you say, oh, hashtag self-care Sunday, and you are just throwing down more shit than you would probably consume in a regular week if you were off the diet, No bueno. Self-care for the mind is scheduling in quiet time every morning. I don't care what you say. You can meditate if you're not into meditating, which 100%, I believe everyone should at least give it a shot. I want to put it out there right now, kind of like even like a side note. Meditation will very rarely be you sitting quietly and having no thoughts pass through your mind. I know like maybe 2 people who have ever experienced that with meditation. The thought of like meditating and having a clear head is just not a thing. But when you meditate, you center yourself, you give yourself peace and quiet, and you allow the thoughts to come up, but they pass. And if anyone out there is like me, my thoughts don't regularly pass. My brain is kind of like a weird intersection, really trafficky, lots of people honking on the horns trying to get through, and the light's not working, and it's a mess. But finding that time, even if it's 10 minutes in the morning, do a guided meditation if you feel like you'll lose your train of thought, or, just listen to some calming music. But if you don't want to do meditation just give yourself some time, man. Wake up in the morning, and before you get directly onto your phone, or before you start waking up the kids, or before you start working out, give yourself 10 minutes to just exist with yourself. Slowly transition into standing and moving and being with the light and hydrating yourself. That, you guys, that is self-care for the mind. Self-care for your mind is allowing yourself to say no. Hello, this is not something that you can hashtag self-care goals, but it's so huge. And I get it. It's so easy to be a yes man. It's so easy to want to help everyone. It's so easy to want all of the awesome opportunities all at once. It's so easy to take so much on our plate. But self-care is knowing what is best for yourself and working towards being able to do what your body needs to function at its 100% and reach its full potential. Self-care for the mind is being able to say no and not overwhelming yourself. Self-care for your mind is just nourishing your social time. I'm talking with your friends and your family, not allowing work to take over your life, not allowing different responsibilities to take over your life. Sit down and have a meal with people that you love and laugh. Genuinely make room for laughter and actual social interaction that is not through your phone, that is not a hurried hello, goodbye, kiss on the cheek. Nourish your social life, guys. Self-care for the mind is not retail therapy. I will say it again. Self-care for the mind is not retail therapy. That's, again, hashtag treat yourself. And I'm not saying it's bad. You can absolutely treat yourself to things, but there's this pressure to fit in with the self-care crowd, to go out and buy something that you can't afford, or once a week have a hashtag self-care moment where you have that little bit of retail therapy, even though you're still stressing about how you're going to afford bills or that really low credit score that you have. It's not retail therapy, guys. Like, completely erase that out of your mind. Self-care for the mind is not self-medicating. It's one thing to be social and to nourish your social life. It's another thing to self-medicate, or even to, overdo it with the girls' night. Say, I really need time to just let my mind be free and relax and have way too many drinks way too often. I feel like I don't need to go any deeper into that. You know what I'm saying. Self-care for your soul, for your emotional health, is making room in your life to grow in your passions and your hobbies. That could be even just like the passion of reading, making space for it, or maybe it's painting, or maybe it's horseback riding. Giving yourself the time and the opportunity to not only do those things, but do them regularly and grow and get better, or grow and love it even more and experience even more. That is self-care that takes care of your soul, you guys. Self-care for the soul is accepting help. I will say it again. Self-care for your soul is accepting help. Self-care for your emotional health, guys, is letting go of bad company. And I know everybody hates this, but I'm going to tell you right now, no matter how many mud masks you do, how many glasses of red wine you drink, how many slices of chocolate cake you eat, if you're in a bad relationship, if you have toxic friends, if there's tension in your family, those are the things that make the difference. The masks and the purchases, none of that is actually self-care. what helps your emotional health is rebuilding the relationships that need to be rebuilt and letting go of the relationships that just no longer serve you. Self-care for the soul is not a candlelit bubble bath. I don't care what they say. I love bath bombs. I love using oils. I love having crystal baths. But that's not self-care. Those are things that make me feel nice for the second. But it's not moving my physical health or my emotional health or my mental health forward anywhere. You guys, self-care is not an indulgence. It's not pretty, and it's not this weekly band-aid that can make all the bad go away for a day. Self-care is prioritizing the growth of your happiness and your health. And I really want you guys, as we finish up this podcast, to just go back and think about the things that you've been mistaking for self-care and the things that you really need to do to grow and find your full potential in your physical health and your mental health and your emotional health and your social health and your psychological health and your spiritual health and just whatever makes you okay from the inside. And I'd love to know, what is your favorite form of self-care? I challenge you to share that on Instagram. And you can use the hashtag self-care Sunday if you want, but I want you to use the hashtag sips-and-giggles so that I see it. And on top of that, make sure that you tag me. My name on Instagram is @CaseyAnnRose. Tag me in that post so that I can see it and so that I can show you love and so that I can share that with other people so that they can understand the genuine aspect of self-care. But for now, you guys, I'm going to wrap up my Sunday before getting into a crazy week. And I'm going to take care of myself a little bit. I'm going to reevaluate a little bit of my self-care. And I can't wait to see what you guys have to say. Until next time.